When I was 6, I moved to Aunt Celine's house and lived with my older sister, Zoey. She was 4 years older than me. We were sweet and bitter. And the bitter part was definitely more. She drew a borderline on the bed to mark her space, but never respected mine. One night, while I was comfortably asleep, she shook me awake just to say,
"Your blanket crossed the line."
I stared at her like, "Are you serious?" She ordered me around like I was her personal maid.
"Rumi, get the charger. And water too."
I snapped, "You have eyes and legs." But if I talked back, she acted wounded and pulled out her merit list.
"In 2012, I bought you a hair clip. In 2014, I cooked ramen. In 2019, I saved you from bullies."
I would just sigh. "So now I have to do your laundry for a year?" But Zoey wasn't all bad. Sometimes she was actually good. After 4 whole years of begging, she finally gave me her Netflix password. She also gave me her old phone, though only because her boyfriend, Ginu, had just bought her a new one. But after she graduated, she spent less and less time with me. Every night, she went out. One night, she didn't come home at all. My aunt and I called her worried sick.
"Zoey, where are you?"
And she responded, cold as winter.
"Stop acting like my mother. I can't breathe in that house. I'm moving in with Ginu."
And she left. Just like that. I missed her. I really did. But I pushed everything into school. I graduated with good grades, got a sales job, saved for college, and eventually moved into a place of my own. One night, coming home from work, I saw a basket at my door. Inside was a baby. My phone rang. "Rumi, Mandy's there, right? Thank God." I froze. "Zoey, is this your child?" She spoke fast like she was running.
"Yes, I'm flying to Europe with my new boyfriend. Take care of her for a week. Everything's in the bag, including a journal. Bye."
I yelled, "Are you insane? You disappeared for 2 years and now?" But the call had already ended. I panicked. I almost brought the baby to Aunt Celine, but she was out of town. I ran to the police station, holding Mandy like she was made of glass. "My sister abandoned her child," I said. "They told me if I turned her in, she would be placed in social services." Mandy cried, loud, heart-splitting. I couldn't do it. I tried dancing, rocking, running in circles, anything. And she stopped crying, only to poop. And I cried with her. Why is this happening to me? The next day, I carried her to work. At the supermarket, my arms were full and my patience was gone. I asked the cashier to hold Mandy for a second while I tried to check out. I had to remove half my groceries because my card limit wasn't enough. Suddenly, the speakers blasted,
"Congratulations to our 1,000th customer! $2,000 voucher!"
I was so excited, I grabbed my bags and ran straight out the door.
"Hey, the baby!"
I froze. My soul left my body. I rushed back, bowing 1,000 times. "I am so sorry. Oh my God, I am awful." Then I saw him again, the guy from the supermarket. Turns out he was Rex, the CEO's son and a member of the group Saja Boys. He was charming, gentle, elegant, the type that makes you feel like you're seen. He asked me for coffee. I felt something warm. I didn't tell him about Mandy. Not yet. Zoey's 1 week became 3 weeks. Mandy and I fell into rhythm. She still spat food on my face, but I learned how to catch it. I enrolled her in daycare so I could work. But then she got sick. I panicked and called Rex. He drove us to the clinic. The doctor said she'd be okay. On the way back, I invited Rex inside. He looked around.
"You live here? It's small and messy?"
He stepped on a toy, got angry, and threw it against the wall. I stared at him, stunned. He said firmly,
"You should give the baby up. She's your sister's mistake, not yours. Or force your sister to come back."
His words sounded logical, but it was already too late. I loved Mandy. A few days later, Rex mentioned social services again. I was exhausted. At work, I collapsed from sleep deprivation. Rex leaned over me and whispered, "You need to let that baby go." Aunt Celine came back. She gave me Jinu's phone number. I called him. When he learned he had a daughter, he was stunned.
Oh my God, she looks just like me. Zoey left me for someone else, and she hid this?
He came immediately. He took Mandy into his arms with a softness I didn't expect. And when the door closed behind them, something inside me collapsed. The silence was louder than any scream. I miss him. His tiny hands, his gummy smile. My heart felt empty. I tried moving forward. Rex brought fancy gifts, expensive meals, glitter and gold. But whenever I mentioned missing Mandy, he snapped.
Mandy, it's always Mandy.
I walked out. I went straight to Jinu's house. What I saw melted me. A pacifier hanging from his neck, Mandy on his hip, milk powder in his hair, and a toy shaking in his other hand. I laughed. Jinu smiled back, gentle.
At least I can make you laugh.
We cooked, we cleaned, we talked. It felt like home. Rex called, heard Jinu in the background. He exploded with jealousy. I hung up. I went to see Jinu more. Rex grew angrier. At a gala, he barked,
Why aren't you wearing the dress I bought? Go change. I can't be seen with someone dressed like that.
I answered, calm and sharp, Then don't be seen with me. He yelled,
Fine, you like that guy, don't you?
and in that moment, I finally admitted it to myself and him. We're done. I called Jinu. He came to get me. I crossed the wet grass. My heel snapped, and he lifted me effortlessly.
You're soaked. Wear my jacket.
My heart thundered in my chest. Later, holding Mandy, I whispered, Jinu, can I stay tonight? He said, softly, like it was the most obvious truth in the world,
You don't even need to ask. I want you here, always.
A few months later, I moved in with him. I raised Mandy with him. I loved him like my own. Then one day, Zoey came back. She saw us and froze.
Rumi, you betrayed your sister?
I breathed deeply. You abandoned your child. You cheated on your boyfriend. You disappeared. What exactly did I betray? She looked away. Jinu held my hand.
She's not worth the argument.
And with
Time
this
passed.
ring,
Jinu and
now
I got
pronounce
married.
you husband
Life
and
became
wife.
warm,
You may
gentle,
seal this union
full.
with a kid.
but there was still a quiet space where Zoey should have been. On Mandy's 5th birthday, I went to buy him a toy. Another hand reached for it at the same time. I looked up. Zoey? She handed me the toy, voice trembling.
For Mandy, right?
Mandy peeked from behind me and called.
Mama.
Zoey froze.
He grown so big. Can I hug him?
I nodded. Of course, you're his mother. Zoey held him, shoulders shaking.
He calls you mommy.
I said softly, yes, but he knows you too. I always showed him your pictures. Zoey cried.
After everything, you still kept me in his life.
I wrapped my arms around both of them. We're family.